Hi there, my name is Brooks from Character Design Forge. This week and next, I want to talk about one of the most valuable and personal resources we have as creative people, our ideas. Next week we'll consider what to do if you don't have an idea of what to create, but right now I want to talk about the opposite problem, when you have too many ideas. Now I know that for some of you, that sounds like the best problem to have, and how does someone to get to a point where they're overwhelmed with creativity? Well, it's not quite that simple. This can come about for a variety of reasons. Perhaps you simply are too busy to work on an idea you have, and you get backed up with inspiration. But more likely though, is that you develop a mindset where your ideas are precious, and you're actively putting off work on them for later, because you're saving your idea for the right time. This, way more than the lack of ideas, has always been a problem for me. I used to have larger projects in mind and feel like either my personal skill wasn't at the point that it needed to be, the idea needed to gestate a little longer, or because I felt like this idea, more than any other, would be my magnum opus, my signature project that I'd be known for forever. Well, it was bad enough that I had that attitude about something that didn't exist yet, but how it affected me in the present was much worse. It caused me to procrastinate. So when I did have the time to sketch or write, I would consider that big idea too precious to work on, that needed to be just perfect. So I would mess about with something of no consequence, the result being that I've just pushed the thing that I supposedly cared the most about away. Worse yet was the fact that sometimes there wasn't just one idea I was excited about, it was multiple ideas. So with the ideal of the project being inflated, and now the things that I did in the present not mattering, I didn't have to put any effort into what I was doing here, because just wait for the multiple streams of gold to burst forth from my mind and hit the paper. Well, I may be exaggerating harshly looking back on myself, but obviously there was a need for serious attitude adjustment. So if you're dealing with any similar issues, here's the reason why saving ideas in your head just doesn't work. First of all, ideas in themselves are useless. Their execution is what matters. The most vivid dreams can't be translated into a film flawlessly and effortlessly, and similarly, ideas tend to look better in our heads. The more we build up an idea as precious in our minds, the more disappointed we'll be when it eventually becomes less than what we're expecting. It's about execution. That means you need to start on the best idea that you have right now. The second reason this just doesn't work is that storing lots of ideas makes it seem like you have more than the sum of their parts. Here's a little bit of a reality check. If you have ideas for, say, 2 or 3 comic series or short animations or anything that takes a significant amount of time, you're not going to be able to do them all at once or all in a short period of time. So have a hard look at the things rattling around in your head, decipher what idea you're most passionate about, which one you really feel is best, and be comfortable with the fact that the rest of those ideas are not going to get worked on right now. The reality is, sometimes we become infatuated with our own ideas, and later we get over them. The third thing is that we don't get anything done. You may feel that your skill isn't at the place that it needs to be for this project, but you will never reach a place where your ideal for this idea matches up with your perceived skill. So you just need to start. The fourth thing is that banking is not saving. Having all of that in your mind and not on the page is weighing on your cognitive load. At some point your brain will get full, and you won't get new ideas so readily anymore. So pick one thing and start. So we've talked about why it doesn't work, but what things can help you? Well, in each of those reasons, I said to pick one thing and start, and that's so important. If you've ever felt more compelled to finish work that you're collaborating with someone on, or a client project, that's because you're feeling accountability to someone else. So create some accountability for yourself. Set up a reasonable time frame for yourself, the milestones and mini goals along the way to get there, and commit to it. If you feel compelled to, commit to it publicly by sharing that end date. In fact, I'd love for you to commit to something in a comment under this video. Another thing that can help is, when you do get the inspiration for something new, don't be afraid to get it all out of your mind. Ideas for characters, story, draw and write everything out loosely. This can be difficult when you don't have a regular routine for writing and drawing, so refer to my video on making time for your art, where I talk about setting aside time every day to work on what you're most passionate about. When you have time every day, you're not only able to regularly work on your current project, you develop the habit of being able to articulate, either through writing or drawing, new ideas more easily. So a disclaimer, when should you be saving your ideas? Well, when you don't have time to work on them because you're already committed to something else. Don't hop from project to project just because some wondrous new inspiration has struck you. Stick it out with the thing that you've now committed to. Just make sure to get the new idea recorded and out of your head in order to revisit it in the future. Even if you don't have an issue with too many ideas, I hope that this could be beneficial for you. If you have the opposite problem, where every time you sit down to make something, you have no idea what to make, the next video is for you. That's it for me today. I'm making new videos every week at characterdesignforge.com. Subscribing on YouTube lets you know when new videos are made available. As always, I'd love to hear your questions and struggles when it comes to character design and art. Thank you very much for watching, and have fun creating.